And welcome to PacWest Bigfoot. This is David and good friend Candy here. Hi, Candy. Anyways, guys, I want to say thank you so very much for being here on the interviews and everything else. Real quick, there's nothing new really going on with PacWest Bigfoot right now other than doing some interviews here with Candy and got some other interviews on there. I did recently start adding some reports on there from people. I've got another one from Florida coming out on Friday. As well as your weekly dose of PacWest Bigfoot encounter stories. Also, real quick though, I do want to mention that the PacWest Bigfoot shop is now on the website itself, and when you do get stuff, send me some selfies. We want to share it out there on the Facebook page with everyone, and just have some fun and whatever. That's about it. Other than that, let's get to this. I prefer to do all this than all that. So, Candy, you're from Oregon.
I'm actually from Eureka, California, but I'm currently living in Oregon.
Awesome, so, awesome. And you've had, I guess your neighbors have had an experience, and you've kind of experienced some things, and also as a young girl, you'd experienced something. And so what I want you to do is just go ahead and share that first experience, where it was, what was going on, and what you decided, what you said earlier you didn't want to look at. So go ahead and just start there.
Okay, well, I was raised in Eureka, California with my grandparents, and every weekend we would go to Willow Creek to visit with Grandma, and then I started staying the nights. So one day on the weekend when I was staying the night, I was infatuated with my grandmother's Folgers can of buttons. And I was just looking through all those buttons, and I heard this boom, boom, boom. And she had a driveway that was very steep and went straight down and then around her trailer and then down the rest of her property. So as it was getting closer, I screamed, "What is that?" And she said, "Oh, he won't hurt you none if you don't hurt him." And she had an air conditioner in her window that he was walking next to. And she fed feral cats. I'm talking dozens of cats came in through that window and under the air conditioner to hide. So that's basically what I did. I curled up into a ball and hid with the cats. I didn't actually get to see it walk by, but my grandmother seemed to have been really familiar with it, and she didn't really care. So, and that was about 72, 73. I was about 4 or 5 years old.
Oh, I was 2.
I told this story, and a lot of people say your grandma was playing a trick on you. Would she really do that to a 4-year-old? You know, I just
not grandma's, not really, no. Did she have any other stories about it? Tell you anything else about it?
She's gone. She passed away in the 80s, and she was very quiet. So I didn't think at 4 years old to ask her. I wish. So that was my experience there, and it I knew it was real because I've had the experience, so it's always been in the back of my mind, but I didn't remember it until we moved here where we're currently located. Now, where I'm located now, I can't really reveal, but I'm just going to say it's a big park. We're expanding. And we had about 40 acres of woods that they bought, and they clear-cutted everything. Mm-hmm. So, in my opinion, okay, you got a picture up there. In my opinion, they were in that wild spot, and now they're kind of just hanging out around our park because it's pretty wild about a quarter of a mile around our park, and then there's more houses. So
this is somewhere in between Boring and Sandy, somewhere right out in that area.
Correct.
Okay. So yeah, this is. I'm gonna try to get down here on some of these roads so that people can kind of see how, what it could be like out here as far as, thick things can be out. I mean, look at that. I mean, things can be just so thick out in here. Between Sandy and Boring, because you've also got, heading out east, you've got Mount Hood region. So, I mean, this is
correct.
Yeah. I mean, anytime you're on the east side of like Sandy and Boring, I mean, you're pretty much in the woods.
You're right across from 211, across from our park, is totally wild and wooded. There's no houses past that. And that's like, I would say, behind Estacada if you kept going, but there's no road that goes that way.
Yeah.
So
yeah, this is
the park really has big trees. We have huge trees there. They haven't been cut in years. When I first moved in 2012, my friend was walking on the left side of the park. They have trails. And she came back from the walk and said, a squirrel just threw a pine cone at me. And I said, really? And I said, did it drop on your chest or did it go straight? And she said, no, it hit me in my chest coming straight across. She said, I didn't know squirrels could do that. And I'm like, if they could do that every time you fight with the squirrel, they would be throwing stuff at you. It's obvious you just got hit by a Bigfoot. Mm-hmm. So I'm thinking it was an adolescent. She didn't think anything of it. So that was in 2012. Now forward to our neighbor. Our neighbor in this last year in 2017, it was July 28th. It was 11:30 at night, totally dark. He got in a fight with his girlfriend and decided to go to the kids' house in Portland for the night. So he gets on his motorcycle and he's going out of the park and he's going up the hill and he goes, oh, I need to turn my brights on. And he turned his brights on and the whole region lit up. And right in the road was an 8.5-foot tall gray creature. Now he said, oh, maybe that's a bear. Oh, it can't be a bear. It's gray. He said the hair on his head was extremely long, and so was the hair on his body, but the hair on his head seemed longer. But it wasn't a solid gray. You know, there was patchy colors, but it looked like an asphalt shade, he said. So it could have been a gray and older Bigfoot. He wasn't looking at him. He was looking across the street, like where he was walking to. And he just kind of like spun around on his bike like this and got the heck out of there. Yeah. and he waited at the mailboxes and then he came back out 10 minutes later and he said he honked the whole way down the road. He was so scared. So that was his experience. He showed us on our sheds how tall it was. I just wish it would have looked at him and gave him a visual.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, how far was he away from that thing?
Probably about 12 to 15 feet, because right where he's going up the hill, it goes up and around, and you can't see around that point.
Okay.
So he was kind of backed up in there in the road.
Okay. That's pretty darn close, though.
Pretty close, and
right there.
His wife has been hearing things in the woods every night. She goes, oh, did you hear that? Did you hear that? And he's like, no, there's no such thing as Bigfoot, right?
Yeah.
So now he's a believer, but he still doesn't want to run the window.
What kind of things are they hearing in there? Do you know?
Well, one night she heard a man screaming, oh, God, no, get away from me. And she thought it was the neighbors playing video games. We're all in travel trailers. And there's just deep woods behind us. She could never get an answer from any neighbor. They weren't playing video games. I mean, this was like 1, 2 in the morning. She hears a lot of screaming that she can't distinguish. But my daughter lives, we have circles in the park. Yeah. I live in the second one. My daughter lives in the third one. And when they go out late at night to smoke on their porch, let's see, a month or two ago, she heard a cat and a dog fighting, like they were twisted up fighting. And then they were listening avidly, like, what could that be? And then there was a loud scream that stopped all of it. And she said it was part animal, part human, and it scared the crap out of them. They went back in their house.
Oh, that's crazy.
So, kind of in the woods, they left some woods that were wild, but she lives right in front of the area they took out all the woods. So I think what they're doing is filtering in on that side of the park. Mm-hmm. Now, my husband heard many things in the summer. He heard a whoop whoop, and it was about 2 trailers away from us. And he told me it was in the park. He didn't actually tell me it was 2 trailers away until a month later, and I was just scared, going, oh my gosh.
So I'm not taking that garbage out tonight. I just hope you know this.
Right. We had a lot of coyotes. in our park in the last month, just like twice a week. And I mean, they are right within our circle, under our trailers, just the
Really?
noise. It's crazy. Usually we just hear the owls. We get a lot of owls, but we haven't heard a whole lot of owls this year. Just coyotes. And last weekend when I went up to find the teepee, it was extremely quiet. There was no birds. There was no nothing. And we know when that happens, something's lurking.
Yeah. There's usually a predator about.
Right. That next morning, my husband heard standing we have a wooded area in between our circle, and I live right out from that. And we think it was standing in that wooded area, and he heard a long 2-minute whistle. And he said it was odd. He's hunted all his life. He's never heard the noises he's hearing.
Yeah.
And
I've never heard like and I've never heard a whistle in the woods like that. To hear something like that, I mean, even from the birds around here, it's really a chirping here in our part of the country than it is some sort of whistle. If it was a whistle, I would be like, oh, there's a person about and I can't see them.
He said that the whistle was so long that he couldn't think of a person being able to expand that much breath to do the whistle.
That's what I've heard, because of the pitch, the elevation of the whistle itself, and the length of the whistle. So
right.
Yeah.
Well, about an hour before he heard the whistle, at 5 a.m., he heard, we have an abandoned house on the property that they bought to expand the park. And it's been abandoned for about 20 years. And he heard a loud hand slapping noise on the house. I mean, just repetitive, like 8 or 9 times. He thought, that's a weird sound. And then an hour later, he heard the whistle. It's almost like they're saying, come back. It's time to go to bed.
Yeah.
So then my daughter and I decided that we were going to go investigate, because where he's heard most of the noises is a trailer that my friend owns. He's moving at the end of the month, unfortunately. And we've always wanted to climb this hill. It's straight up. And as we were going up it, we saw a bunch of depressions of footprints. One, it looked like 2 sitting right next to each other. Unfortunately, they didn't come out very well in taking a picture. Mm-hmm. But they were like it was bending down and looking down over our park, just sitting there, which is really scary. We kept seeing all kinds of footprints. So we get up there, and there's somebody's property to the right. And there's no house. It's just a field with a wooden fence. And we go to the left, and we kind of have a flat spot with heavy trees. And we're walking through there. My daughter felt kind of uncomfortable the whole time, but I didn't. I was in the moment. I'm a forager, so I love being out in the woods. Mm-hmm. So we get up there, and we start walking, and I see that teepee. And I don't want to get near it. I don't want to touch it because it's disrespectful. I want to be respectful. So I was kind of going around in a big circle to take pictures. And my daughter said, we need to go because I think we're close to somebody's property. Well, she just said that to get me out of there because she was hearing noise. And I thought she was hearing noise behind me. Now, a couple days ago, she said, no, Mom, it was above us. I was like, what?
Whoa.
So apparently, when we climbed up the hill, they scurried up the tree above the teepee, and they were sitting there watching us while I was taking pictures. But we didn't experience anything scary. We just walked down slowly. I didn't know we needed to hurry. And that was that. So I'm wondering if the teepee is, because it was those 2 sunny days that we had a week or 2 ago. It was 50, almost 60 degrees, sunny, and I think that might just be their hangout.
Was that just recently?
Yes, that was
it was really, really nice weather. It was like 50, 57 down here. It was pretty awesome and sunny.
Yes,
that was like a week and a half ago. Yeah, that was nice.
It was beautiful. I think they just hang out right there. I think they actually have a shelter when it's raining because we get full noises from the animals and the birds. And we know our birds. Like we have one that does kind of a Lulu whistle sound.
Yeah.
I haven't heard those guys in a long time.
Oh.
It's awfully strange. Those certain birds haven't come back, but we get a lot of animals. We really don't have anything in our woods but raccoons.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I've
here
been
in Oregon,
thinking
you get
more.
coyote, you get mountain lion, we get black bear, of course. There are wolves here,
Mhm.
but they're still very few. Um,
Right.
and that's really about as far as a predator is concerned. And the bears really aren't even predators for us. They're really skittish here, and they're small for the most part. So
Correct.
yeah,
Yeah,
bobcat, lynx, things like that. So yeah.
we've had one bear sighting, and they hit it going across Deep Creek on 211, and it was so small.
Yeah.
And then we had cougar sightings 2 years ago, but they were training young. They're young, and they were going from Estacada over. They were just killing and going, killing and going. And we actually saw one by our house. But other than that, we don't see anything. So that's why I was
Yeah.
really floored with all these Bigfoot things happening lately. But we don't shoot in our park. Every house that lives around us shoots. So I think that they know that we're not allowed to shoot in the park, so they take comfort in staying there, even though, it's dangerous. I mean, if a human catches one, there's a lot of fear there. My approach to Bigfoot is I don't want to be afraid of him.
Yeah.
I'm trying to work on the no fear because they're just trying to survive. Their wilderness is going.
Yeah. Yeah, most of the time, like the little anecdotal stuff I get, the little tiny things that seem a little scary, and then, like I said, the reports are part of the research that I get to do, the interviews with you guys, but the other stuff, the encounter stories, are just based on true stories. They're just based on what people experience. I do notice that most of the time, I think the ones that are a whole lot more scary, even life-threatening, if you ever notice, and I notice this, and I try to reflect it in there, but it seems like it's scary and it's crazy and it's life-threatening because we stepped into a domain that we don't belong in. We stepped into an area where we should not be right now. And so that's why I think, we're just in the path of something that we need to give a wide berth to.
Right.
Like any wild animal, it's like give them a birth. No matter how intelligent I think an animal is or can be, they're still wild. It's not like a porpoise has never hurt anybody. Not like a whale has never grabbed somebody by the leg and taken them down underwater. A wild animal is a wild animal, and you always give them a wide berth. I think you should always do that. Yeah.
Yes, we never go out in the woods alone. If we're going to go hiking in the trails, we always go by two, just because it's safer that way. But pretty much, I forage out there every day in the open areas, and I don't never see anything, hear anything, nothing. But
until you get into the trees.
There's another section of our park that goes along Deep Creek, and this lady who moved in by my friend, she said one day she was outside and she heard noises, so she would shine the flashlight up and it would be quiet. Then she would put it on her chest and she would hear the noises. And I said, well, what kind of noises? She goes, I'm not sure. I've never heard anything like it. So she moved out. But I'm definitely sure they're on that mountain on the left side when it rains. I think there's a little coved area where they can hide from the rain.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. No, actually, I don't know if people know this, but the book, The Oregon Bigfoot Highway, by Joe Bielart and Olson, I actually got to meet Joe, and I got an autographed copy of the book here from him. For my kids, my boys got to meet him too, and it's just a collection of just awesome kind of research, basically, throughout that whole area, from Boring all the way out through Estacada and out through into Mount Hood National Forest there. And it's just it's a beautiful highway. But I did get to talk to one person that was in that book once about their experience, and it's they're not exactly benign, but they're not exactly going out of their way to I don't think they're there to menace by any means. So But you live in like probably one of the hottest spots in Oregon. So
Yeah, I heard that interview you were doing with the lady, and you said Estacado was one of the hottest spots in the
it
country, and I was
is,
like, oh
yeah.
goodness.
That whole highway out there from Boring all the way through and everything is just, it's a total hotspot. You've got that area, you've got the kind of Crater Lake area, you've got kind of the I guess you would say up around up behind Mount Ashland over to the Hyatt Lake area. Coastal wise, you've got Newport, you got the Florence area, really, really hot. And of course, Brookings, Gold Beach area is pretty hot. But the hottest of them all, I'd say, is Crater Lake and Bigfoot Highway up there out of Cicada. Those are the, if I was to go researching anywhere, those would be the two places that I would pick to go first.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Well, it definitely is exciting.
Yeah, that's got to be pretty, interesting. Anytime you guys get any other, if you guys can record some things or anything, I don't know if you know, but you can get these little digital recorders. I have one sitting around here. You can get them for like $20 on Amazon, or
Oh,
$15. And where did mine go? Unless my kids took it and we're
uh-oh.
playing with it, but they do that from time to time. But you can get these little recorders and you can set them out, and they take up to like 10 hours of,
Oh,
yeah. And then you can just sit there and play it back. And if you want to, you can download that and you can listen to it on your computer. They got a little USB port. But if you can do that sometime. Do that, just set it out overnight, or, go up there and set it down, and, in the morning, and go up and get it at the end of the day, or beginning, early evening, and then whatever. Especially up near the teepee that you're talking about. Be a great place to go set it down, see what you get.
all right. That sounds good.
Yeah, you can grab those
I'll
things.
have to do
$14,
that.
$15 to $20 on Amazon is a great idea.
It's cheaper than my trail cam.
Yeah, really. Well, there's a lot of people that say something about infrared and trail cameras, and them not being so, them actually sensing that kind of stuff. But a digital recorder, that's different. It's so small. I've put one out and caught a couple things that I thought were pretty questionable. Of like, what the heck was that? It didn't sound too normal to me. But it wasn't conclusive enough to go out there and share it everywhere. It was just like, well, who knows?
Right, right.
Yeah. But from what it sounds, where you're at, who knows? You're going to get the next, 1.5 million view scream on YouTube heard. So, yeah, that whole area is just hot. So, yeah, I would definitely.
Yeah, the screams. I listened to the screams a couple years ago on YouTube, and I'm like, I've heard that before, because, of course, I grew up in Willow Creek on the weekends, and it's a normal sound for me. When I listen to it, it doesn't scare me, and it's just something I've heard before, but without realizing it. So that was kind of cool to discover.
Yeah, my mom has heard that same stuff. She had mentioned that, it just sounded off. It wasn't something known to me. It was like an animal and a person all in one.
Yes, kind of weird.
It was just weird sounding. It was creepy and interesting all at the same time,
Right,
So,
right.
yeah. Well, that's awesome. Thank you for sharing all of that.
Well, thank you.
I know.
You want to come visit Bigfoot hunt with us? You're welcome.
Yeah. As soon as my kids are all grown up, I keep telling people, it's like the only thing I get to contribute to the Bigfoot community is cool encounter stories and interviews with you guys, because I got 5 kids and 4 are still at home. We homeschool and I work online. I'm just like, oh, I'm so busy. But I do go fly fishing a lot. So, yeah.
Do you?
Yeah. So I like to take my camera with me, and I take pictures of things out there, and when we're wandering around up and down rivers or creeks or brooks, and just, you never know. So I always bring a camera with me. So,
right.
Yeah. And my phone, just in case I record something. Yeah. Exactly. So I'd start bringing something with you, even on your phone. If you got a smartphone, there's a voice recorder on it, and it'll record for a while. So while you're
Yeah.
out there, you can just set it down. Yeah, you just set it down where you're working there, picking mushrooms, foraging, things like that. Just set it down and let it record for a while.
Okay, sounds
Yeah,
good.
cool. Awesome. Well,
Okay.
thank you for sharing your stuff with us and your experiences. That's awesome. I'd love to hear more about that as you collect more evidence and cool stuff.
I'll keep
That'd
in
be
touch.
great. Okay. All right. Hold on one second, Candy. Okay. Stay right here. Anyway, thank you guys very much for being on here this week on the old PacWest Bigfoot. And God bless you guys. Stay safe. Get out there. Do some Bigfooting if you can. And if you do, please, seriously, be safe with it. Okay. All right. Awesome. With that, God bless.